Hi, this is Charlie giving you Friday's update. I hope you're very well. Looking to actually trade here. It's only 10 to 8, and potentially trade the Aussie this morning. And I've been looking for all the markets. I thought that we were going to be looking for the yen to go up this morning, but yen's already backed off. If we show you the dollar yen, that is. The dollar yen on the 5-minute chart, you can see if I take you out to an hourly chart, you can see it's actually backed off a fair bit. I thought might have been held up there overnight and then go higher, but overnight actually it went up a little bit again, up into the 100 and nearly 101 actually. Got close, and but it's backed off. So I'm looking at this Aussie dollar, and cable's holding up nicely enough as well actually. But what I'm looking at here on the Aussie is the old classic of it has a bit of a flush down, but I'm looking for it potentially to come up. What I'm seeing is still a chart here with the Aussie on the daily charts. I'm not going to show you momentum charts, but the momentum is still quite nicely positive on the daily charts, and we've actually got positive momentum on the hourly charts here. So if I take you to the hourlies, and what we've done is we've come down to retest the 21 here, the blue line, and we're just hugging this this hourly 200, this yellow line here. So it's not brilliant, it's a bit messy, but it could well be the one that I'm about to trade. So now the potential is that we want to come down to the lower band on the dailies. I'm well aware of that. That's down at about 30, 91.30. So that is my risk, that if I'm wrong here and it doesn't come up from here, then I'll get stopped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a very tight stop and see if we can if that one's going to hold. So what I'll do is I'll put a stop in at 50 something. So I'm going to look to get in a second. So let's see if we can bring up the order tickets, and it'll be one that I'll be looking to try and get a bit of a run out of it ultimately. So if it does go up, that is. So a bit messy, but we have got the positive momentum. I'm looking at the bigger time frame. The fact that we've still got that daily momentum. I'm well aware that it could just want to come down and test that daily lower band, and if it does, I'll look at this trade again. So if I get stopped out, I'll quite happily get stopped and then look to reassess if it comes down again. So that's how I'm going to be looking at this. So for now, I'm just looking to see if I can get an entry. I just want to see if it's going to just dip to the lower band again. So I'll press pause and see if we can get an entry. Okay, so it's starting to come down, so I'm getting close here, so I'm getting ready. I'm only going to put 3 units in. You know that very often I'll put up to 6 units in, but I'm probably just going to put 3 units on this because it is a little bit messy. So I can just put a smaller trade on, and then we'll see if we can get a run on it. So it should still, if it does run, then it could still be a half decent trade. But from a risk perspective, I might as well just put 3 units in because it's not the best and the most straightforward one. I'm having to work it a little bit. So let's see if we can get some entries here. I'm just waiting to see if we can just dip down a little bit more and get that entry in. So trying to get the better price as I can. So we'll just see if we can get that. Let's get one in here at 66. Here we go, and here we go. 65. That's what I wanted. And one more. Right. Okay. So I've got the 3 entries in. Let's bring up the account. Okay, so let's bring it right across for now. I don't need that anymore. So you can see my entries. Can you see them? Probably not. There you go. There's my entries here. 66.1, 65.7, 65.7. So I'll just get these stops in now. So I'm only going to put my stops in at sort of about 57, something like that. So I could very quickly get stopped out. So, I'll give it a go just to see if this is going to be about it. So 91.58 we'll put it in at 91.58. Okay, right, I'll press pause while I'm just getting the rest of these in. Okay, so that's all in. I'm now the reason I've just come in because I've used the bands again in the opposite fashion to normal, in that we came into the bands. I was just looking for a retest of the lower area of the band to see if that's then going to hold, just using that as my excuse to then see if this is actually going to turn up from here. If it comes down, then I'll be out and stopped out this trade very quickly. But I've used a combination of factors from the higher time frames, looking at this as a flush down. It's come down to that hourly 21 and the hourly 200. We've come then back into the bands, and then I'm just looking to see if we're going to hold on to these and then start to turn up, and then we'll just start to assess it from there. But really what I'd be looking for if it starts to turn up is to see if we can get a bit of a run on this. But so it's a little bit of not quite a straightforward trade this morning, but I have got the positive momentum still on the hourly chart, so I'm just seeing if that's going to play out. If I get stopped out, it's going to be very nice and tight, so it's not going to be a big loss, and it means that we can then reassess, and if it does come down to that 30 zone, then I'll look at the same sort of play down there coming back into the bands, and then see if we can do something there as well. So we'll reassess from there, but for now we'll just see how this is going to get on. Press pause. Okay, so you see it's coming up a little bit for me. I look to take one of the units off just as we come up towards this 21 MA, if it gets up there, and we've got the 8M pivot just above that as well, so all around about 74. So just if we can have a little blip up there, then I'll take one of those units off, and then we'll just carry on trying to see if we can get a bit of a run out of this and see how it goes. But certainly I'll be looking to move the stop up down to the low 60s very shortly if we can get to that first target. So let's just see if we can get there. So I'll press pause for now just while we're waiting, but that's what we're looking for. Okay, it looks like we're getting there. So I've put an order in at 73. There it goes. That should get taken. There you go. It's hit. So this is, we've come up into that 21 there. So right, okay, so far so good. We're up at 53 whatever, and it's now just a case of just managing the rest of these two. So I've moved up the stop to where's the stop now? 61 here. So it's a case of saying, okay, well, I can probably move the stop up to this absolute low, this low now. So it's probably about 62 or so. So I'll do that in a minute. But there's not really too much more I really want to do with this trade, because at the moment it could roll all the way back over again. I'm not interested in trying to protect it and get the stop up to break even or anything like that just yet. So if it was to roll over, I would still lose on the trade, but I wouldn't lose too much. So I'm going to move that stop up a little bit, but really what I want to see is if this can be the beginnings of a move up further. There will have to be a secondary level that I would take some profit off on this trade, which is a bit further up yet, up into these mid 80s, but by looking at things off my other charts, but for now, and then really then see if we can get a bit of a runner well above 92 on the final stake. So that's the plan at the moment. So I'll press pause and just see how this goes, but I'll move that stop up marginally as well. Okay, just back. It's now nearly 2 hours since I got into this trade, and it's moved up a bit, as you can see. It's played around. It's just very slow today, not a lot of news out. So what I do need to do is just move those stops up a little bit. So let's just do that. I've got that second target. I've put it's at 91.90 as we come into these highs. So if it can get up to there, then I originally was going to have it about 85, but I've looked at it again and assessed it and think, no, I'd still like to see 90. What I can do is move the stop up to about 65 now. So let's just do that. I had moved it up a little bit on this trade. What we want to do is, let's just move the stop up. Oh yeah, it's only got to move up another pip. What I really wanted to do, oops, that's the 65, that's it, right, okay, that one's already at 65, right, okay, cancel that then. So what I wanted to do, so we've got the stops at 65 and I've got a limit order at 90, okay. So what I really want to do is, if we take this out to an hourly chart, is to just see if we're going to really get this push today and get up well into those 92s. So if we can get up to that, or if we can go higher, then I'm going to carry on trying to run that remaining stake. So I'll take that next one off at 90, because it does seem a bit on the sluggish side. It's got a little bit of resistance up there on the higher time frames, 4-hour charts. So that would make sense to close something off there, and then it's just a case of seeing what happens. But this could be one of those days which could be very, very frustrating. I'll say very frustrating, a bit frustrating, if it was to just roll over, because it's so slow. We've been setting this trade for, like I said, 2 hours, and if it was to then go and roll over and stop me out, you'd think, ugh. All right, stops at 65 now, so we'll have a very small profit, but it's tiny. But what we're looking to do is to got into this trade with a small stake, get a runner going, and then it can actually still develop into quite a nice profitable trade if we can get that runner. So that's where we are at this stage. It's not really too much going on across the other markets. Cable's moved a little bit. If we have a look at the pound, when I last looked at it, that is, yeah, it had a little run up there, but that's even just going sideways. And the dollar yen, if I can find the dollar yen here, there it is. Okay, it's had a little break up to the upside. Remember, this is only a 5-minute chart. If we actually take this out to an hourly chart, then all it's done is come down to its hourly 50 and had a little bounce so far. So not too much going on. So I've been getting on with other things, dusting my office and finding things to do. Okay, for now I'll press pause. We'll come back to this in a bit. Okay, so I've just been stopped on that. It's just rolled over. So it's just one of those things, and that's why you manage your trades like I've done. So you put yourself into a position where you can't lose. Hopefully, that's the idea after a period. So we've banked £27. We were up about 200 there at one point, 250 or whatever. But no, I was looking for obviously that runner, which would have given us a £500 Friday. But it's rolled over. Now I'm going to keep my eye on it, but I suspect the momentum may just roll over. I'll have to have a look at it. So these markets haven't got a lot of news in them today. I'll try and keep an eye on this. We may keep this video running for a bit and see if it wants to come up again, because I do see overall the potential, but it's only potential at this stage. It's not the greatest of markets today. So if that's going to be it, then that's going to be it. It's just one of those things on the last Friday. One thing I must mention is we've got a lot of new followers today, so welcome to those new followers. I'm obviously going to be away for 3 weeks as of today, but Kim will be covering. Anyway, I'll press pause and we'll just see if anything else develops. I'll have a look across these other markets and see if there's anything else. Okay, so it's had this flush down. I'm wondering whether this is it. So what we're going to do is we'll put a couple in on this one with a tight stop just down below the low. Because what I'm going to do is we come back into the bands, done the usual, come into the bands and just retesting. So I'm just looking to see if this is it. It wouldn't surprise me if I was waiting to see if we were going to flush down and take out these lows, which is what I would have rather have seen. But you never know, sometimes the market may just want to put a slightly higher low in. I'm just looking at the other markets across the board. So I'm just going to put a tight stop in here, just at this low really, because I think if it breaks that low, then it'll want to flush down below that low, and then it'll come back down to that 30 odd area that I was ultimately looking for. So I've just put 2 units in, and what I'll do is we'll start to add to this. If it does start coming up, then we'll start to add in as it comes up to like 91.80 and or so. So that's going to be the plan. So let's just get the stops in, and then we'll take it from there. So I'm just going to put those stops in. So let's press pause and just do that. Right, so I've got the stops in. What I'm now going to do is actually put an order in to buy at 91.80. So just around this zone, resistance zone. I think if it can get back above that 5-minute 50 again, then everything's on for another run up again. So that's the idea. So put a buy stop order in. We just need to put the stop loss behind it. So we'd put a stop at down about 65. So let's do that. So actually let's put the price in first of all. Be useful, wouldn't it? 91.80, and then we'll put the stop loss in at 91.65. Okay, right, so there we go. So we've got the extra order in now. So if it does come up, then that'll trigger us in on the third unit. So we'll see how we go with this one. I'll press pause for now. This could be over very quickly, but I've only put the 2 units in, so I'm willing to take it. No, if I lose 150 quid here today, it's not exactly a big deal, is it? We're trying for you in what is a fairly slow day today. So I'll press pause for now. Okay, just back, and as you can see from when we last were in the trade, it's rocketed up. We'll show you the count in a minute. But so just to take us back, so remember I got in here around about here. It had that dip. I had that stop down at 62, and then it's gradually come up. And then while I've been out, I've actually been getting my hair cut, and I saw that the market flew up. So I didn't know where the price was or what it was doing. I just saw that it was going up. I was checking off my phone, so I closed out of 2 of the positions. So I'm still holding on to 1. So this is where we are now on the account. So we've still got one left in. It looks like I've got one out at 96 and 87, and I had that buy stop order in at 80, and so that obviously got triggered, like I said, and so that's the one I'm still in. And now it's a case of I'm looking at my momentum charts, and it's looking okay. Hopefully, what time are we at? It's 12:38 as I'm recording this. Hopefully we can hold on here and move a bit higher. What I'll do obviously is I'll move my stop up to we'll put it up to 92 now to lock all the gains in, and then really it's a case of seeing if we can get that extra bit of a run here this afternoon. I'd like to see somewhere above 92.50 if we can. So if we can get up to there, then I'll start looking at it as far as profits are concerned and everything else. So I'll have a look at that. But for now, let's just get this stop moved. So nice thing is that we're in a nice position where whatever happens, so there we go, put it in at 92. So whatever happens there, that's just the confirmation. Can't lose. I mean, it would bring this down to about what's that, about 300 quid, but that's fine. Once you're into a position, and this is what it's all about. Remember, we had that trade this morning. Didn't quite work out. Just ended up with £27, and because it didn't run. And then I took another look at it. Nothing had changed. Still had the momentum there. The bigger picture was still the same. The same pattern came in again, and we hadn't rolled over on the momentum quite on the hourly chart. And so I had to go with my conviction to give it that second go. But the thing is, remember, I went in with a small stake and then said, okay, well, if it does actually breach whatever it was, 91.80, then I'll add. And so that's always an option, just to put a buy stop in and see if it's then going to go. So that's where we are. I'll press pause and we'll see where we go to from here. I need to do some analysis. I've literally just walked in the door and I need to see where that potential profit's going to come in. That's if we don't come down, but I'm hoping we're going to hold and we're going to go higher. Okay, so just back. Yeah, well, it's sitting around down here. It's all slowed down, which is a bit of a shame. I was hoping this was going to poke back up. It's leaving a bit of a tail on that hourly chart. Let's have a look at the hourly chart. See, it's leaving a bit of a tail, but I'm going to leave it and see if it can go up. I think overall it's got that chance. That's why I was looking at this morning on the bigger time frame, coming out to that daily chart. It's just come back up into the upper band again, but I really want to see if it can actually get a run. So we'll see. My stop's at 92. If it comes down, then so be it. It's going to stop me. So remember, make sure I've got that. Yeah, 92. So actually, yeah, if it comes down to 92, what that'll come down to about £400 actually. So it's still okay. But again, like this morning's trade, you're trying to run something, and if it will run for you, that's when it really pays out. So if this does go higher again this afternoon without coming down anymore and stopping me out, then that's when it pays. And otherwise, yeah, it ticks over and it's £400 on this account, which or whatever it'll be, which is fine. But then you get those trades that may happen like 2 times out of 10 where you get that runner, and those are the ones that pay out. So that's why we're trying to hold on to it. Anyway, I'll come back to this in a while. Okay, so I'm now just going to, it's just pulled back as you can see here. I'm just going to move my stop up aggressively now to 0.5, so the low of this candle here. So I'm just going to do that just to, again, still locking all this in wherever I can. So let's move that stop up to 0.5. So that's 25 pips locked in on that part. But really, I still want to see if this is going to get that runner this afternoon and see if we can really get a good run on this trade. So I'll press pause again for now. Right, it's coming up a little bit here, so I've just moved my stop up to the low of this candle now. I'm keeping it nice and aggressive because I want to get out of this trade. I don't want to be in this all day for you. I want to get this video out to you. So I've just moved my stop up to 92.12 now. So that's locking in just about 32 pips on this portion. So we'll see how it goes. But it'd be nice if it can carry on going up. But I want to try and just keep it aggressive in case this is going to just fizzle out for a bit. If it does just meander along here, I'd still think that Aussie's got a good chance of going higher ultimately, but sometimes you have other restrictions like time against you, and so you're then just looking for an excuse to come out if it is going to play around. So we shall see. I'll press pause. Okay, so it has stopped me. I've moved that stop up to 13 and it stopped me out there. So it had that nice spike up, and I think that ultimately it probably still is going to go higher, but we're now at 10 to 2 in the afternoon and I need to get this out to you. So time is pressing on. So let's have a look and see where the account got to in the end. So we got to just over $800, £530. So not bad actually. So just to do that review of the trades, we had those 3 entries this morning. Remember, we got to the target at 73. Remember that little 5-minute 21. Took that one off, which protected the trade. Moved the stop up, so it gave a £27 profit overall on that one. And then I put those 2 entries in at 91.68. Sorry. And then put the buy stop order in if it was going to go higher at 91.80. and those of what have paid today. So there you go. It's a good example actually of trying to let those trades run. I've tried to let this final portion run, but I've had to start trading the stop because it's all gone so slow. But we'll see how it goes later. But not bad for a slow, what was a sluggish day. The momentum came through again eventually. Right, have a fabulous weekend. I'm away for 3 weeks now, and Kim will be keeping you up to date and over the following few weeks. And look forward to seeing you into August.